Hey guys, how you doing?
Good
It's
to go.
Brad. I'm so excited about my guests today, Josh and Kristi Burke. Welcome to AITREpodcast.com, all things real estate. Now, Josh and Kristi Burke are realtors in Kansas City, Missouri. Josh and Kristi are a husband and wife team from Kansas City. Now, Kristi's family has been in real estate and sales development for over 40 years. In 2016, Josh and Kristi decided to join the business that they felt destined to be in. They said we specialize in residential new construction, but also rely heavily on their own resale business. And they work in Platte and Clay County and Jackson County. But Kristi is licensed in both Kansas City, Missouri and Kansas City. Josh is licensed just in Missouri because Kristi always has to one up him, right? But
That's about right.
I'm married. I told you my wife's in the business. Welcome, Josh and Kristi. How are you today?
We're great. Thank you so much for having us.
Good. Thank you. And
We're good.
Thanks for putting up with all my mistakes here. I mean, what are you going to do? You guys make me nervous, I think. I think it's a Kansas City Chiefs thing. I'm not sure. So talk to me. How is the business? How's the market in Kansas City?
It's been good, actually.
You want to take this one?
You got the numbers.
It's good. So basically what we're dealing with is kind of like a perfect storm, right? So, inventory levels are down. Like we don't have one county that we work in that's over 1.5 months of inventory. So if you're thinking about a time to list, this is it. The other thing that's obviously helping is rates. So as you have like this low inventory, you have this amazing time to get rates around like 3 or below, you know what I mean? So lots of people going after that. If you're looking at like average price of homes, that's obviously going up because of those two stats.
Right.
So out here, we're looking at like probably our biggest market is like around 330 is like the average price of a home.
Okay.
And then like the lowest is probably around like 240. So pretty big flex there. That area that's a little bit more is more kind of focused on like new construction homes. So that's kind of why.
Yeah, so if you're listening and you're from Kansas City, what he's talking about is Platte County. So what's really interesting right now is Platte and Clay County are both in the Northland. But the average sales price in Platte County is $326, and the average price in Clay County is $268, which is really interesting if you're from the area. That's never been that wide of a spread before. So we're accounting that to a lot of new construction really picking up, especially with the low inventory.
So when you say you specialize in new construction as well, where are you getting your new construction leads? Do you have a construction company, a home builder that you actually work with? Are you in-house or are you just working out of Remax?
Well, so my family does development and they work with several builders, and there's about 7 active subdivisions right now. They list everything. So unfortunately, we're never really on the listing side, but we do work primarily with buyers in the new construction area. Yeah. So what we do is we volunteer our time on the weekends, and we sit a lot of open houses.
Smart.
Probably almost every weekend, and it's usually him because we have a 2-year-old now. So
that's great. That's great. So you guys, with the coronavirus, congratulations on your 2-year-old. Mine are 15. So
thank you.
Thank you.
On the coronavirus, are you guys able to still do open houses? In Los Angeles, we don't do it. We can't do open houses. Everything has to be appointment only.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously there's more
one.
precautions that you have to do and stuff like that, but we are able to keep working.
That's great.
There was like a little while where they did shut down open houses, but it slowly got back as the county got better.
So guys, where do you see the market headed in 2021 in Kansas City and Missouri?
Well, if you're watching this later, you should know that today is 2 days after the election, and we still don't know who the president's going to be.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to know. And, it'll just depend, I think, a lot on the policies that get put in place, especially as the eviction moratorium is lifted, and the, people who took forbearance. It just depends on what kind of financial aid will be available to those people, because eventually those loans are going to get called, and the mortgages or the rent's going to get called. And so hopefully the policies are the right fit for what we need to make sure that these people continue to have homes.
Well,
I agree with you.
And with that also, with all that stuff, also like how the rates are going to be affected by what happens over the next couple of days. You know what I mean? So if we could keep those rates kind of low, I think there's nothing besides a good market coming. But if those rates start to go up, it's going to start halting some people from qualifying for the amount of house they want to buy.
Yeah, and I definitely think what you guys said too, that's a great point. I think especially the first point you made too, with forbearances and the evictions, and we just don't know where that's headed and what the government's going to do. So I think if the government is willing to help people, it'll save their homes more. I've been in the market, in the business now since 1998. And I really have watched, especially during the last, downturn. I unfortunately had to figure my whole business back out again after being in it for 10 years. In 2008, when the market went down, I was like, what do I do now? And had to be one of the guys knocking on your doors, obviously telling, working for the banks and doing foreclosures. And I don't see that necessarily happening here now, but I do see nationwide it being a problem towards the end of 2021 is what the banks that I work with are saying, based on the NODs and the forbearances, and just it all is going to be kind of depend, Kristi, on what you said as well in the first part, is what's the government going to do to help people? And if they're going to help them majorly, I think that Josh is right, with interest rates a little lower or stable, that people will be able to hold on to their homes at least. So where do you guys get most of your clients from? Are they the new construction on weekends when you're doing open houses, or are they referral?
We got kind of a good mix. About 60% of our clients come from referral business. And then, 30% probably from the open houses, and then 10% just random internet stuff, like from Zillow or Instagram or Facebook or something like that, wherever we're, marketing.
Do you guys so you talk about your marketing, Josh, do you tend to use Facebook and Zillow to target and market people?
Most of what we use is social media, just to keep prices low and stuff like that. But most of what we're doing is like Instagram and Facebook.
That's
and
great.
We run a lot of ads, especially focusing on the actual houses that we have listed, rather than focusing on us. Because obviously a big part of real estate is selling yourself to the client, but we also we've kind of focused where, like, Josh prospects a lot, and I work a lot in the transaction, and that way, like, I primarily try to focus our advertising on actually selling the house, because I think that shows our clients that we go above and beyond when it comes to the service.
It's wonderful.
Just advertising us. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Let me ask you guys, what's an average morning for you? I know you got a 2-year-old now, so talk to me. What's your average morning? How do you prepare for the office? And what do you do when you first come in from waking up? What tell me about
our mornings are kind of different, so I'll let you go first.
Well, so our son will end up in bed with us almost every night around like 3 in the morning. So we usually wake up to a punch in the face.
Yes.
And then then I have to kind of take care of him, and I usually put him on some baby songs to watch while we get ready. And I have to get ready every morning. I pretty much look like I'm going to work every single day, maybe a little more like business casual most days, but you never know when you're going to get a call or showing. So I like to be ready to go. And Josh is kind of the same, a little more regimented.
So I don't know. I kind of wrote something down because I wanted to make sure I got everything right. Like, I kind of have like my routine. I'm a routine person. I have to do the same thing every single morning. Otherwise, it kind of throws me off for the whole day. Like, I have to. So
good, Josh.
First off, I get slapped or kicked in the face by my 2-year-old.
There you go.
Which is the alarm clock. That's about 7:30.
Then by your wife.
Right. Depending on my reaction, right?
Right.
Then I get ready and dress for the day. The first thing I do is I check the stock market. I check the news.
Me too.
Did anything happen in the world that's going to change my job? Is there anything I need to be concerned about? Right.
Good for you.
Then the first thing I do is I check my Google Calendar, because we're pretty religious on that. Everything goes in Google. If it's not in there, it doesn't exist. And there's kind of, in this job, there's a lot on your plate all the time. So if we don't put everything in there, we're going to forget something. So I check that to see kind of what my day is going to look like and plan on that. Right after I'm done with that, I check my email to see if there's any 911s or any kind of like first things I have to handle that morning for a closing or anything like that coming up. Then my day kind of splits. I either head to the office or I go to an open house, depending on what day it is. And then from there, after that happens, I'm pretty much available to clients for the rest of the day.
That's great.
That's kind of where we differ a little bit. Like I'll roll out of bed and I'll immediately check my emails. So I have to see if anything is urgent. Like I have to know. I handle that. And then if there's something on there that needs to be done when I get to the office, I put it in my calendar. And then I do a lot of paperwork Monday through Friday. So less open houses for me, but a little more office work.
And that's important, you know. So for all of you people, you new agents out there that are listening to Josh and Kristi and myself, one of the things, Josh, I'm very similar to you is I always used to tell my wife it would be very easy to kill me because I am so structured when it comes to wanting to, you know, I'll have breakfast the same way. I'll go to the gym every morning. I'll always, you can find me, you know where I'm going to be. My appointment book is so important. And when I'm teaching agents, I constantly tell them, if it's not in your book, you're not going to do it. So you need to make sure, I don't care if you're going to the gym every day at 7:30 in the morning, you need to put in there 7:30 in the morning gym, 9 to 10, I'm returning phone calls, you know, 8 to 9, I'm doing this, whatever it is, every day, get your routine going. And if it's not in your book, it's not true. And if you put things like your gym or your lunch or whatever in your book, you're more apt to keep those things, because I find that if you're not going to the gym or you're not doing something for you that feeds your soul, you're not going to be truly happy in our business, because you have to have some time for yourself, whether it be golf or whatever.
True.
So that's great. So how did you guys pivot? What did you do during the beginning of COVID that scared all of us? How did you pivot to with COVID and the quarantine?
So we were really lucky. We already had a lot of technology in place. That was something, I'm a really process person, so it's something that we had implemented a long time ago. And we did deal with, especially because we've traveled a lot, so we did deal with a lot of out-of-state clients already. So I had done a lot of sight unseen, FaceTime tours. Those are things that we continued to do through coronavirus. Right. We also had, Zillow has the integration for the 3D home tour, so we had all of those on all of our listings.
That's great. Did you now?
Signature.
I'm sorry, Kristi, but you had said that you really were into structure and doing different things. So I wasn't familiar with Zoom before this. Were you? Did you use Zoom?
I was not. No, I actually did get Zoom 4. That was probably the newest technology that we had downloaded. And we used it primarily for builder meetings.
Yeah, but we were using FaceTime for everything. So like if we had an out-of-state client, we would literally, we were already used to walking through a house and showing them everything and like kind of talking about the things that you can't see on a video.
That's great.
In that, like, you know, do you smell a dog, or do you, you know, is something like that.
We know what people would be surprised by.
You're like, you're like, there's a lot of dog urine here. You're gonna have to replace them.
Well,
yeah, no.
Yeah, and like the last thing you want is for an out-of-town person trusting you with like the biggest purchase they're going to make, and then they get there and they don't like the house. So you have to like be able to paint that picture to them, and we were already used to that, so it made a pretty easy transition.
Also, in Kansas City, we never fully shut down.
Yeah,
so
I know. You're lucky. You go. Your football games have fans and everything. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's it's a divisive topic, I guess, but we were I should say lucky, because we had so many people on escrow at the moment when they did do lockdown in Kansas City, and they decided they can still close. They did curbside closings, and we still did showings by video. So we never halted. We just adjusted a little bit.
So let me ask you guys: you ever seen Back to the Future?
Yeah, but it's been.
Right, it's been a long time, but you know the premise, right?
How detailed is this question?
This is detailed, Josh. Pay attention here. No. Okay, so Josh, I can ask you, how's that? Okay, since you've seen it.
Sure.
If you were Marty from Back to the Future, right?
Mm-hmm.
And old Josh now could go back to young Josh and say, hey man, you really should do more of this, and you really should watch out for this. I'm sure you'll warn them about your beautiful
We're
wife.
talking about work, right?
Yes, work. I know you're like, wait, invest in Zoom.
Right.
So what
Um,
what would you have, advice would you give to your young self to do more of and do less of?
First off, I think the most important thing would be just don't be scared, jump in both feet, get involved in the community. Just get out there, meet people, help people for absolutely no reason beyond the fact that they're going to remember you. You know what I mean?
Right.
Get out there and do stuff for them so you can build relationships with these people and go at it that way. I think that's probably the biggest thing. I got involved in a BNI group. Are you familiar with that?
No.
So it's Business Networking International. So it's like basically it's a referral group, but it's great because it gave me a way to pass business to other people as a realtor. I needed a solid plumber, a solid electrician.
Yeah, no, it's big.
Everything.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I had
Definitely.
a group that I met with, and I wish I would have been able to do it quicker because it's definitely made a big difference in our business.
So that's your advice for you wish you could have done more. What would you advise young Josh to stay away from business wise and try to do less of? What have you learned?
Well, I think I don't know. I guess I want to say the media has kind of made this like fake belief that a realtor has to go in and like fight for every single penny for whatever and make it difficult, and that's how you're a good agent, which is completely untrue.
That's right.
I mean, I guess I would say like the first couple of transactions, you kind of want to like go in and just know that like you're working with a partner. That other agent wants this to happen just as much as you do.
Yeah.
And it's not personal, it's business. You just have to make sure that you're representing your client and their needs. And then, but you can do it with a handshake, instead of a fist. You know what I mean?
I'm so happy to hear you say that. Really, that's a wonderful thing, because I try to tell agents this all the time, that you're going to do several deals with these people. Our business is relationships, right? It's all about building relationships. I want to be able to pick up the phone and go, oh, I know Josh and Kristi. Hey guys, it's Brad. And you go, wow, I want to do a deal. I have 10 offers, but you're the guy, right? That's what we're about.
I mean, I've even had that happen with agents where we didn't get the deal. We didn't get it, but like the other guy told me like, man, I wish I could have worked with you. You know what I mean? Like, and vice versa. So it's like building that relationship that will come back later on when there is an offer that's the exact same.
Right.
And maybe I won it because I was nicer to that guy in that situation, or that lady in that situation,
Yeah.
What do you guys,
when we
go ahead, Kristi.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, especially when you come across, there's so much in our business that's out of our control. And so often you have to be the bearer of bad news. And I think like we had an agent come to us with bad news, and we were like, okay, well, clearly it's not your fault. This is a title issue.
Right.
And we worked it out, and it wasn't great. It wasn't optimal for anybody, but you moved through it. And he said, thank you so much. Like, down the road, this is really going to pay off for both of us. So
I agree. What do you think your clients like best about you? What is it about you guys? Do they like the fact that you're a husband and wife team, or what do they like best about you guys? What do you think keeps them coming back?
I think it's Kristi. They like Kristi the best.
I think they like that we're really available. Having a partner like Josh and a partner that's my husband, like one of us is available pretty much all the time. And I hear that complaint a lot. Like my buyer's agent, they never showed me a house, or they were never available when I wanted to go. And I'm like, well, if I'm not available, he is. And if he's not, then someone on our team is. If we're not going to let you miss out on a house because of our schedule.
I guess we haven't really talked about that, but we run a sales team, so that like if one of us isn't available, we still have multiple other people that we're very proud of and have handpicked to be on our team, so we know that they're representing our clients the way that we would.
And you just probably let your clients know that, hey, anybody can show a house. We're going to be here for your negotiating. We're always here for your questions, but these people are on my team. That's a great attribute to have. What are you guys most proud of as agents? What makes you the happiest and what kind of pat yourself on the back
talking about
for?
this, and that's probably our team, you know, because we've handpicked. We have 4 people right now that we recruited and we've trained and we've retained on the team, and
That's great.
I just feel like every single one of them is such a good fit and such a good customer service oriented, really sharp, really entrepreneurial spirited, and like for example, our first recruit was actually our 3rd client. Yeah. And during the process of selling her a house, she was talking about something. And I said, you know, you really know a lot. She was already in sales. I said, have you ever thought about being in real estate? And she goes, yeah, I've thought about it pretty much my whole adult life. And so a year later, she gets licensed. She calls us and she says, I'm ready. Here I am. And
That's
we're like, whoa, you know, we were like a year in the business at that time. And we thought, can we do this? Can we start a team this soon? And she's been with us ever since. And she kills it. And she's becoming quite a great, you know, asset and partner. And
that's
I think
that's definitely what I'm proudest of.
Before real estate, both Kristi and I were managers in sales positions. So you know what I mean? So we were used to hiring people. And what you're looking for when you hire someone, right? Like that's kind of like the biggest part. Like you need to make a good hire or a bad hire. It's harder to like teach something. You know what I mean?
Never know.
You need some talent.
And you never know in real estate, you know, there's always a personality for somebody. So you can take someone as long as they're willing to listen. So Kristi, let me ask you a question with you and Josh. How are the responsibilities delegated? Do you delegate to Josh? Does Josh delegate to you? Do you guys kind of just know what your strengths are?
I didn't even think about that question.
Let me tell her how to answer this.
That won't go very well.
Josh, can you delegate?
That will not go very well.
Go for it.
Well, actually, we just kind of work different sides of the business. Right. So every once in a while, I'll say, "Can you take this off my plate?"
Right.
Or he'll say, "Can you take this off my plate?" But you know,
so you kind of work as a
almost
team.
all of the prospecting. He almost does all the prospecting because ever since we had our son, I really haven't been working as many open houses as I used to. But I'm really great once we have a client. Kind of getting them through the process, purchasing a home, and I obviously handle all of the paperwork. But I say I'm like the problem solver. So when something comes up, we come up with a solution like that.
No, that's great that you guys work well with each other and know each other's strengths and weaknesses. I know with my wife, when I have her, there's certain things I know she does really well that she likes to do, and there's certain things she hates to do. So it's very easy for me to go, hey babe, can you go do this? And she's like, no problem. I'll take care of it. And I love that. You guys are more partners in the sense of you started at the same time. So I felt that the dynamics are probably really interesting, and you could probably just look at each other and know what you're thinking in regards to business, especially.
True. And like she said, I do most of the prospecting, but I kind of like to think of it as, I kind of play a game of, hey, have you met my friend Kristi? You know what I mean? Like I try and rope them in, and as soon as they
close them,
you know, we click, I'm like, hey, this is the person you want. You know what I mean? So
that's
it's kind of like, it's a good handoff. You know?
Your closing.
I think Josh's
Exactly.
I think Josh's position could be easily defined as like relationship manager.
Oh yeah.
Like he meets people, he gets to know people, he stays in touch with people after the transaction's done. Like you're gonna hear from Josh, you're gonna stay in touch with Josh.
Right.
And I'm kind of like everything in the middle. So
that's
and honestly, I love that part of it. Like that's why I like this job.
A little bit of an anxiety.
That's the fun part of the job, right?
So
like,
guys, I
want to hear from me.
I have a key question for you. So you guys sound wonderful, and it sounds like you're really great agents in Kansas City and in Missouri. And it sounds like that your clients are lucky to have you. If we have some listeners listening and they'd love to either work for you and be an agent in Kansas City, or they would like to buy or sell a house with you, how could somebody get a hold of you?
Our website is called totallygroundbreaking.com, and our cell phones are on there. So call or text us.
Can you actually?
And to make it easy,
yeah. Why don't you do this?
Cell phone's 816-945-0671. Just give me a call, shoot me a text, like whatever you need.
Perfect. And then can you repeat and spell out your website, please?
Yes, totally groundbreaking. Wait, I can't spell out loud.
Totally groundbreaking.
TOTALLYGROUNDBREAKING.com. Man, that is a long website. We should probably, we'll just keep it.
It's spelled correctly. If you can spell totally groundbreaking, just not out loud. Like
I don't know how good the sound quality is going to come out today. So that's why I just wanted to make sure you spell it, because I'm getting a little bit of feedback with you guys. But that's okay. We'll make some magic happen. But I really wanted to make sure that people knew where to find you. And I really appreciate you guys coming today. If anybody is looking for a home in, I hope I'm saying this correctly, Kansas City or Kansas City, Missouri, right? It's because you had said there was like I would just say I'm licensed in California, and then people would know. But you said you were very clear in when you sent me an email, and you're like, I'm in Kansas City and Missouri, and Josh is just.
Well,
no.
So wait up, let us fix this. This is something we deal with. So for people listening, I'm from California originally also. So we deal with this all the time with my friends back home. I say, oh, I live in Kansas City, and everyone's like, oh yeah, how's Kansas? And I'm like, well, no. I don't know. So basically, Kansas City is a border city, and the actual city of Kansas City is in Missouri.
Okay.
We also have a license in Kansas, so we can help people that are on the other side of that state border right there, but we mainly work in Missouri.
And and Kansas City, there's a Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas City, Kansas. So we do work in both, but we're mainly on the Missouri side. So
that's great. Yeah. So guys, if you want to see this video, if you're listening to us on audio right now and you want to see Josh and Kristi up close and personal, you'll be able to go to our YouTube channel, ATRE Podcast. You can also go to atrepodcast.com. And if you're interested in coaching and hearing my 5 secrets to success to help you start making you money today, go on it and click it. I'll even give you a free 30-minute coaching session. Josh and Kristi, it's been great. I appreciate you guys being here, and thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you for having us.
Have a good one.
Bye, Brad.